Hello, hello. This is my first live. Oh my gosh, my plant is trying to be famous. Stay back. Welcome to the new house. And welcome to 2026 Million Dollar Events Podcast. This is the place for coaches and creators, females founders who want to create a lead generation machine, a money printing machine using events for their high ticket coaching programs to not only get new audience members inside of a room, convert cold leads, fill their offers, and then do it all again. Whether that's through retreats or conferences, we're here for it. And today I want to talk to you about why your event is not making money. And it's probably not what you think is happening. So you could spend $150,000 producing a conference for 200 people, get a standing ovation, get 5-star reviews from the 6 people that submitted your feedback form, and walk out with 0 new clients. And you have no idea why. Because you stood on stage, you poured your heart out into your speech, you created this agenda with different speakers of different varying experiences, different topics. You thought you had created the perfect storm of an event, and yet you still didn't convert. There's no Stripe notifications going to your phone. No one, or maybe 2 people joined your mastermind, and you definitely were not converting at 25%. And I've seen this happen more times than I can count. The founder always thinks the same thing. I need better marketing next time. I need a bigger room. I need a lower ticket price. I need better swag bags. Maybe it was the sponsors. Maybe it was too short. Maybe it was too long. And they're wrong every single time. So everyone thinks, again, it's a marketing problem, but it's really not a marketing problem. It could be a messaging problem, could be a positioning problem, but it's not marketing. Because their real metric was never heads in the seats. It was buyers in the seats. Because what you probably ended up doing, you probably ended up started marketing a little too late. So then you crashed Instagram trying to think volume, visibility. How can I make this happen? How can I get people in the door? You started discounting tickets to fill seats because you weren't selling enough of them. You knew that you waited too late. You're already a little on the edge of burnout, but you're going to see this through. So you started discounting tickets, BOGOs, slashing prices left and right because you were hoping that discounted seat would push people over the edge, the lurkers, over the edge to actually join your event. And then you ended up giving away free tickets because you wanted people in the room. You're ready to commit knowing that you're going to go in the red to hosting this event, but you wanted the content to come out of it to show a full room. So the next time you go to market an event, it looks like the event was wildly successful. It looks like there was a whole bunch of people in the room having a good old time. In reality, they were discounted tickets and free tickets. And then you measured success by how full the room actually looked in that content. Not how much money it made, not how many clients you converted, not how many people went ahead with an early bird. You probably didn't launch an early bird. You probably didn't launch a wait list. Maybe you've hosted a couple of these, so you haven't also been tracking attendee retention or referrals or anything like that because you just haven't been around long enough. And if you have been hosting multiple years in a row, those are metrics you should be tracking as well. But again, the real metric was never heads in the seats. It was buyers in the seats. And that is a positioning problem. And so here's the thing. Here's another reason that you might have went into the red. It could have been an architecture problem. Your event was never built to convert. It was built to impress. Most founders plan the experience before they actually figure out or even leverage a strategy. They always go to, I'm going to host an event. I'm going to go find the venue. And then I'm going to go find a caterer. And then I'm going to go find a content team. or I'm going to go find a photographer and then I'm going to barter for a content team. And then they lean hard into swag bags. And before you know it, they're like $60,000 in. How they're not selling tickets. And they're like, how am I supposed to pay for all this? Sorry, I thought my phone was going off. The offer at the end, the strategy to convert the offer at the end, and then the positioning is the reason why your event was never built for success, because your offer became the afterthought. What you're going to pitch at the end of the conference was an afterthought. You were just so jonesed up and jazzed up to get people into a room, to have a sisterhood and dance parties and have really good content so you could go brag about it on social media. And then you were like, how am I going to actually make money? Because you're $60,000 in, the tickets are not going to cover the expenses, and you're belly up. And you're like, man, this is a really expensive lesson. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to offer a program. And you put together this offer about a week before. You don't really practice your pitch, or you might practice it a couple of times. And you're like, this is so no-brainer. This is so good. I'm going to build this incredible experience with swag bags and speakers and a lineup to die for. And then people are just going to like throw their credit card at me. And to be honest, that's not really how it happens, because you have to build a through line. And when there's no through line or narrative that's leading your attendees to a journey to buy your offer, you're really just selling content. You're not actually selling anything. You're selling the content of the speakers. You're selling the speakers more than you're selling yourself. And then a mediocre pitch to a room full of buyers outperforms a well-rehearsed pitch to a room of cold leads and free tickets every single time. So if we put the two things together, if we put the real reason of a positioning problem with the architecture problem, you had incredible speakers, but you did not build a narrative around what you're leading them to using the speakers, using the topics. You were just like, oh, someone needs to know content, and someone needs to know how to go viral, and someone needs to know how to leverage threads, and someone needs to know how to leverage LinkedIn, and someone needs to know how to upgrade your style so people take you seriously, and never really considered the offer that you're pitching, and then reverse engineering that outcome to create this narrative for this very specific person that needs to be in the room. Because when you build a speaker lineup based on what you're selling and what she needs to know, or he needs to know, to get to this outcome, this offer that they don't want to do it alone, that needs accountability, that is how you actually stack the deck, create like a pool with your attendees, knowing that at the end, when you send this offer, people are like, oh my gosh, this is so much information. Of course, I need accountability because I don't know how I'm going to execute this once I go home. And that makes your offer the no-brainer. But when you don't reverse engineer your offer, leveraging your speakers, leveraging your platform, leveraging the content in the panels, that's when people are like, cool, bro, this was like awesome. I grabbed nuggets, I took some notes, but I don't know why your offer is what I need to buy. I'm just here for a good time. And that's the difference between having bodies in the room and buyers in the room. So when you have really well positioned messaging inside of your content, when you have a through line using your event content to sell your offer, and then the messaging brings the right buyers into the room, so where you don't have to send out free tickets, you don't have to discount tickets, you don't need just bodies in the room to make the room look full. When you stack the deck through your messaging with buyers in the room was built to sell. So I just want to recap that a little bit. You have messaging that pulls in the right person, the right buyer, the right avatar, using words that they need and they want and they celebrate. And they could also already be your raving fans. But if we're taking someone from cold to sold, you're leveraging messaging inside of your marketing to get the right people in the room. And then once the right people in the room, you're building speakers and panels and content. You're building a narrative using a through line strategy that leads to your offer. And when you have all three, you have the right people in the room, you have a through line narrative that makes people, it clicks in people's minds, it makes them a little overwhelmed. And then you have an offer that solves the problem of once they leave these doors, they're actually going to accomplish their goals that they want and crave and wrote down in the journal on the very first day. It is a no-brainer. That is when people say yes and throw credit cards at you. So here is 3 things missing from every single event that does not convert. Are you ready to say them again? Beat it with a dead horse. The right people in the room. Your audience isn't 1,000% sold on you yet. Your free tickets and discounted filler seats, you're filling them with the wrong buyers or non-buyers. You're filling them with bodies, and proximity to the wrong people costs you conversion. It costs you sales. It costs you an event that costs you more money than to produce than you made. Number 2, a clear through line. Every speaker, every session, every experience should be moving them towards your offer. Sorry, I have my notes. If your attendees cannot connect the dots or cannot connect that what they learned connects to what you're offering, they're not going to buy. So the room should be saying yes before you even really finish the pitch, because everyone knows the pitch is coming. We've been around the block a few times. And then a pitch that respects the room. So here's the thing. I just posted this thing on TikTok earlier or I don't know if that was today or yesterday, but it was like, how hard can it be? Boys do it. In the caption, it says, if Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson can host the same conference like 8 times a year, well, Tony Robbins is 8 times a year, Russell Brunson's is every year for the last 12 years. Like, if they can host the same dang conference every year to 4,000 to 5,000 people and then pitch the same thing for the last 12 years, you can absolutely pitch an offer. So many women out there are just like, I don't want to be salesy. I don't really want to pitch. It's such a turnoff when I hear people pitch from stage. Here's the thing. Men don't care. They go. They don't care about being sleazy or salesy. They go. They just do it because that's how they make money. You lose 9 out of 10 pitches you don't say. You will never sell an offer people don't know about. You will never sell an event that people don't know about. So get off the high horse, get out of your feelings, because if Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson can host the same dang conference every year and pitch the same dang thing every single year, you can pitch. Pitching isn't humble. It's expensive. When the room is designed correctly, the offer is the most natural next step. Selling is a service. Because you're in business. You're not in therapy. You're not a therapist. You're in business. I don't even know if that makes sense. Here's the thing. If your last event didn't convert at 20% or better, like 25% is really, really, really good. If your last event didn't convert at 20% or better, you have a strategy problem. And a positioning problem. So what a 20% conversion actually looks like in your business or in your event. Okay, bringing out the calculator. So say you host an event and it costs you $250,000. I'm actually going to get out a piece of paper too. So it costs you $250,000 to produce. Your ticket sales, if you sell 200 tickets at $750. Well, you actually only sell 150 at $750 because the rest of them were discounted or free. You are making your ticket revenue is, I don't think I did that right. Okay, I was 10 off. So you're making $112,500 from your ticket sales. That deficit is $137,000. $137,500. So basically, because you gave away free tickets, because you gave away discounted tickets, because you didn't fill the room, and this does not take into account sponsorships. So maybe sponsorships, you got $50,000 worth of sponsorships. You're sitting at a loss of $87,500. How are you going to make that up? How are you going to make that up? The way that you make that up is by selling your offer. So say you had a $10,000 offer and you convert at a 20%. So you had 150 buyers in the room. That's 30 people. That's 30 people that join. 30 people times 10,000. That's $300,000, which means your payday after expenses is $212,000. I keep leaving off the 500. $212,500. That is how you make money at an event. That is literally how you make money at an event. Imagine if you only convert 2. Imagine if you only convert 3. So that means that your event costs you $57,000. So the way that you make up for this shortfall, the way that you make up for this revenue is you better have enough buyers in the room. You better have messaging that gets the right people in the room, that gets buyers into the room, and then you convert them at a 20% conversion rate. That is a pretty sweet payday, especially walking into your event knowing that you're $87,000 in the red. And that's what it means for revenue. When you actually strategically stack your deck with a through line, with buyers, with the right offer, and you convert the room with a mediocre pitch, $212,000 payday for a weekend. I mean, that's like more than most people's salary in the US. It's incredible. So just checking my notes again. So literally the difference between an event that breaks even and one that funds the next quarter or funds the next 6 months of your business is one that actually has strategy behind it. It's one that ChatGPT did not create for you. It's one that actually has human interaction at the forefront of everything. It's one that has positioning inside of their content so the right people in the room. It's one that has a business that already has a community ready to meet them. So selling gets easier. And here's the thing is once you can prove that your event pops off, once you can prove that your event actually changed lives, once you can prove and get those testimonials that this is the event that's incredible that people need to be at, you literally sell the next one. Because this is a metric that a lot of people are snoozing on, and it's attendee retention. How incredible would it be if you're not only did you convert at 20% and make $212,000. You also closed or retained 25% of this year's attendees because you threw such an incredible event that they have to come back next year. That is 37 people. You have already sold 37 people into your next event. There would not be and will not be any free tickets. There will not be any more discounted tickets. When you have the strategy that creates the momentum, that creates lead generation, that creates client retention, that creates attendee retention, and that creates revenue in your business. This is why the event industry is a $1 trillion industry, because literally people are craving events so bad, but they want good events. They don't want this mediocre bullshit that's just cash grab. So if you watch this entire video and recognize your last event in every single section, it's really not a coincidence. That's clarity, man. The VIP day, I'm offering a VIP day. And this is clearly, it's getting late in the day. This is literally what this is meant to help bust through. The VIP day, we start with your event foundations. I do an event audit. We look at your financial foundations. We look at what a break even would look like. We look at what the hell happened last year. And then we formulate a plan, a strategy to reach your goals. So part of that, you have to know where your goals are. But when you take what you've done before, you figured out what happened, what went wrong, and then we create a strategy to actually create the goals or reach the goals that you want, that $212,000, then you literally just go and execute. So literally, it's one day. VIP day is one day to build the systems, build the strategy, and plan the event that pays for itself. So I have 2 spots remaining in the month of June before the price doubles, and it's currently going for $3,000. I have made 10 times that in a room full of 20 people. It is possible for you too. The link is in the description. I want you to DM me on Instagram, VIP day. Let's fix your event foundation. And I want you to skyrocket, like take off on your business, because that's literally the power of in-person events. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've found this enlightening, also please take a screenshot, DM me on Instagram, let me know what you thought, and I'll talk to you next time.